Hey guys, usually on this channel we do tutorials, but I think this is worth a mention. I will put the link in the sidebar. It's from digitalrebellion.net. Okay, and they have several Final Cut Studio great applications to help you with things. Some are free and some are pay, and these are maintenance software. Okay, this is maintenance software. The first one under the Mac software, as you can see, I've got compressor repair. Now this is, I think, free. Okay. Now what this does is it checks for missing QMaster files, it checks for incorrect permissions and fixes them if they are incorrect. It resets QMaster. You can manually launch QMaster, checks for invalid host names. It relaunches the QMaster menu bar icon. It re-enables QMaster startup item if previously disabled. Checks for missing local host name and computer name. Trashes compressor preferences, which is optional. So this is really great little free application that if compressor is giving you problems, run this tool on it and see if it helps before you resort to a fresh install. Okay, the next one they have is called Preference Manager. Okay, and what this does, it allows you to manage preference files for your Final Cut Studio and Final Cut Express. Now everybody knows that preference files store information about user preferences, like the window and your toolbar placements, and what do you want to launch when you start it up. And sometimes they can become corrupted, and if they become corrupted, of course they can cause problems. So this preference manager kind of allows you to trash your corrupted preferences and keep backups of the working preference files so you can quickly restore your settings. Okay, it works for all applications in Final Cut Studio, not just Final Cut Pro. It backs up preferences, FCP button bars, keyboard layouts, column layouts, window layouts, track layouts, custom settings, user plugins, Boris text plugin preferences, and compressor settings and destinations. So it can back all those up, and if you have to delete your preferences, you can still have that stuff backed up and you won't lose it. It gives you unlimited backups. It's completely free. It can lock preference files to prevent modification. You can assign a custom backup location for your files. Backups are stored in a single file, making it easier to move them around to another machine. Works with Final Cut Pro 3 and above. You can link backups to a particular project so that the backup will be restored when the project is launched. That's very useful for per project settings such as scratch disks. That's a big deal. And you can categorize your backups for easy identification. And of course there's some screenshots and everything if you want to take a look at them. And to be free, wow, the features in this preference manager for Final Cut Studio is just a must-have, especially it being free. Nobody who owns Final Cut Studio should be without it. Okay, our next one is Final Cut Studio Remover, which is also free. And everybody knows that there's no utility that ships to remove Final Cut Studio. Now, this utility allows you to uninstall all of Final Cut Studio components with the press of a button. Everybody's had to do a reinstall because of some corrupted file or something goes wrong, so you have to reinstall. Everybody's had to do that that's used the software enough. Now, Apple don't offer an uninstaller, and it makes removing or downgrading to an earlier version very hard, because no matter how much you try, no matter what application you use, whether it be App Zapper or whatever, it will not get everything that's installed on your system when you install Final Cut Studio. Simply deleting the Final Cut Studio application icons does not remove the suite, nor does it make it possible to reinstall it again. So Final Cut Studio Remover allows you to quickly and easily uninstall Final Cut Studio, either permanently or in order to reinstall an earlier version over top of it. So it will remove everything: Final Cut Pro, Express, Final Cut Server, Motion, Soundtrack Pro, Color, DVD Studio Pro, LiveType, Cinema Tools, Compressor, Batch Monitor, and QMaster. And the software allows you to specifically select which components you wish to remove. So if you're just having problems with compressor, you can just select compressor, uninstall compressor, and install it back. These are just invaluable tools for the Final Cut Studio user. Now we have the Final Cut Pro Versioner. Okay? Now this costs $59. This does cost money. Okay? Now the FPC Versioner is a backup and versioning utility for Final Cut Pro. It automatically backs up Final Cut Pro projects in XML format and generates change logs to show exactly what has changed between revisions. Now, on top of that, it offers a bunch of options for managing your backups so they don't consume all your disk space. So rather than simply keeping a certain number of total backups, versioner can choose to keep a certain number per day, per week, or month, and it allows you to see much further back in time while minimizing disk usage. The current day's backups are always kept in their entirety unless you set a limit on them. So the FPC versioner offers 3 main advantages over more general backup solutions. You get a list of changes, so you're not just looking at a file name or date. It saves the project as an XML, so you get a plain text version for safety and compatibility. And it offers flexible backup management options to ease disk use. So it's really, really nice. If you look, when it saves everything, it marks down every little thing you have in your project. It backs it up. It backs up here. Out point to clip test 2, in point of video clip. Here's a new marker. It tells you exactly what time the marker's set at, where it's at in the timeline. Every single thing you do is backed up and cataloged and logged. New filter added, cross dissolve. Here's a Title 3D filter added. So this is a great, it's worth $59. Trust me, okay? So if you buy the software, you're going to end up probably paying $60 maybe for the FPC versioner, whereas the other ones are free. But if you want to, you can select the Final Cut Studio Maintenance Pack. Now what it is $129. But it includes every single app that we just went over, including the $60 FCP versioner, okay, plus a little bit more. Now let's look at this. The Final Cut Studio Maintenance Pack is a utility pack designed to keep your Final Cut Studio or Final Cut Express machine running at optimal performance. Major problems always seem to occur right at a deadline, so the maintenance pack is designed to quickly diagnose and fix common issues. With the task scheduler utility, you can even schedule maintenance tasks in the background and not have to worry about them. Now the maintenance pack includes autosave cleaner. Now this expanding on the basic autosave management in Final Cut Pro, autosave cleaner offers more flexibility and can remove autosaves based on additional criteria including age and file size. It can also be set to automatically remove autosaves from the trash so you don't have to keep emptying it when working on a long project. Okay, that's nice. The next thing it includes is the corrupt clip finder. When you have corrupt media in your timeline, Final Cut Pro will simply crash and you'll not have any idea which clip is causing the issue. You face the long and arduous process of reconnecting each clip one by one in order to find the problematic one. Corrupt Clip Finder finds the corrupt clip for you in seconds. Okay, you also get the Crash Analyzer, which analyzes your Final Cut Studio crash logs and attempts to diagnose the cause of the crash and suggests ways to solve the problem. That is priceless. Suggests ways to solve the problem. Okay? FCP Housekeeper trashes various caches and temporary files to keep Final Cut Studio in peak operating condition. Final Cut Studio Housekeeper is even more useful when used in conjunction with Task Scheduler to run these tasks automatically. So it's nice. Empties cache and temporary files. Okay, the File Salvage utility extracts video and audio data from a corrupt movie clip and places it into a new file. That is just priceless. If you're looking at a deadline and you have a corrupt file, you're screwed. But this here can pull the data out of that, video and audio, and put it in a new file. That's just awesome. These utilities ought to be included with Final Cut Studio. They ought to make a deal with these guys and pay them to put this in. Path Manager manages the locations of user and content directories on your system. It can inform you if the extra content that ships with Final Cut Studio is missing or invalid and allows you to easily move and synchronize your content. Like you got 60 gig of content, 40 of it being motion content. With this Path Manager, you can move all your stuff to another hard drive easily. Okay? Now, we got Plugin Manager, and this allows you to quickly and easily organize your Final Cut Pro plugins. You can group them together, install new ones, and selectively enable and disable them, all without having to worry about where the plugins are located. So you can just enable a plugin or disable it and not have to go remove it from your hard disk. It's great. Project Repair attempts to repair non-launching projects so that they are recognized by Final Cut Pro again. And it can fix the infamous project is unreadable or too new for this version of Final Cut Pro. Project Repair. Everybody's had projects that won't open, and this will help. QuickTime Repair. This verifies, repairs, and rebuilds the structure of QuickTime movies. Also repairs invalid CLUT IDs and optionally restored, trimmed, or edited media. For more heavily damaged files, it can combine the movie data of the damaged file with the QuickTime structure of a working file. So this pretty much includes everything you're going to need to fix a corrupted or unlaunchable media QuickTime file or project in your timeline. And we've all put media in a timeline that says, oh, Final Cut Pro can't read this. We also get a system toolkit, a wealth of options to tweak and tune up your system, including extra launch and display options, manage Final Cut Studio registration, scan, repair, refresh files, and remove temp files from disks, adjust system and per application scaling, streamline your applications by removing unused languages, access many options hidden in OS X, and also there's the XML repair, and it repairs invalid Final Cut Pro XML files and can convert XML files to different XMEML versions for compatibility. And not only on top of all this, okay, you also get the $60 Preference Manager, Compressor Repair, and Final Cut Studio Remover. So for $129, you get all these utilities. Or, you know, if you don't want to pay $129, you can pay $60 for the Preference Manager, or you can get the Compressor Repair and Final Cut Studio and Preference Manager for free. You know, Compressor Repair is free, Preference Manager is free, and Final Cut Studio Remover is free. So whether you buy any software or not, you need to grab these three apps. FCP Versioner is $60, or Final Cut Studio Maintenance Pack is $129, but you get everything we just listed, plus all these great housekeeping, crash analyzers, corrupt clip fixers, corrupt project fixers, path managers, QuickTime repairs, system toolkits, XML repairs, all this. And if you're even a halfway serious Final Cut Pro user, it'll be the best $129 you've ever invested, and it will pay for itself in a week. So I hope you take something from this. Go check out Digital Rebellion. I promise you will not be dissatisfied.